Hey guys, so I just wanted to check in with you, give you guys some updates, let you know what I know about the future of Cornerstone Youth and ministry there at the church. It looks like we're just unsure at this point what the future is going to be. So we don't know if it's going to be all resolved in the next 2 weeks. We don't know if it's going to be a 6-month long thing or a year-long thing. And so what I kind of would like is if we all started thinking about this kind of like digital ministry as the new norm, at least for now. So we're not going to be meeting the next 2 Sundays, definitely. It's probably going to end up being longer than that we actually are not meeting in person at Cornerstone Church on Sunday nights. But here's the thing, those of you guys that are in Sunday school classes, I want to continue doing those things. We can use an app called Zoom. If you need more information about that, you can contact me. It's a conference call app. It's free. It works great. We're using it for church staff meetings and different classes and things like that. So it looks like we're going to be a digital ministry for a while at least. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys is this idea of fear that's been going around a lot, fear and anxiety. This morning, I actually heard one of the elders at Cornerstone say something that really got me thinking. He said, and I wrote it down, that God gave us the capacity to fear. And so fear in and of itself is not a bad thing. And I think that we're going to take a look in just a second at a couple of verses from the Bible. And I think that it'll clarify this a little bit for us. So we see here in plenty of places that we're told not to fear. We're told not to fear. So in Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And then we see in 2 Timothy, which has been very popular lately, and I've used this verse myself, but I think... Okay, so we also see in 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." So there's these parts of the Bible where we see very clearly that we're not to be fearing, right? But yet God gave us a capacity to fear. And so what is the purpose in that? And I think the Bible actually speaks to this also. So we'll go to Psalm 86:11. It says this, "Teach me your way, Lord, and I will live by your truth. Give me an undivided mind to fear your name." And then we see in Psalm 33:8, it says this, "Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him." And so God gave us a capacity to fear, and yet it says in parts of the Bible not to fear. And so here's what I think is happening. The capacity that we have to fear is rightly used when we use it to fear God and not the things of this world. So when we are fearing viruses and when we are fearing other people, that is a misuse of the capacity to fear that God has given us. The fear of God should consume every other fear that we have in this world. That when we, in comparison to who God is, nothing is worthy of our fear any longer. Not even death. Not even death. And I know this is a scary time, and I've been trying to avoid kind of using that word, but I think it's time we talk about it. So not even death is worthy of our fear. Only God is. We see this played out in Philippians 1:21 through 24. So this is the Apostle Paul, and he's writing to the Philippians, and this is what he says. "For to me, living means living for Christ, and dying is even better. But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ. So I really don't know which is better. I'm torn between two desires. I long to go and be with Christ, which would be far better for me, but for your sakes, it is better that I continue to live." So what we see is that Paul is struggling between wanting to continue living for the sake of his friends that he's ministering to, these churches, and wanting to die and go be with Jesus and go home and be with God. So Paul does not fear death. He only fears God. And I think that this is the kind of place that we need to be also. So are Christians immune to the coronavirus? Absolutely not. Are we to be living in fear of the coronavirus? Absolutely not. We are to be living in fear only of God, and that is the healthy biblical approach to this capacity of fear, I think, that God has given us. So we need to let the fear of God consume all the other anxieties and fears in our lives. Remember what the psalmist says in 33:8, let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. That's the kind of fear that we are to have of God. So we know that he holds all things together, that he sustains everything, that he gives us the very next breath that we take. But we also know that with that control and that power that he has, that he is also good. And so we can stand in awe of this amazing God who sustains everything, who's in control of everything, and yet is good. And that is the healthy fear I think that Christians are to have. This fear should drive us towards wisdom, as it says in Proverbs, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So what I want you guys to do is over the next couple days, think about this. What is it that you guys are fearing? Are you fearing the world more than you fear the God who's in control of it? And if so, maybe let's have a conversation around that. I think that could be some great dialogue. So I want you guys to continue reaching out to each other. I want you guys to continue reaching out to me and the other youth staff. Let's stay connected. Let's not let social distancing keep us from communing with one another. We live in an age where we are able to stay connected digitally, and I think that's a great privilege and something that we should take full advantage of as the church. All right, I love you guys, and I'm praying for you.